Definitely Rhea Ripley. I think
Definitely.
Toni Storm's cringy.
Really? You think
Yeah, I
she?
just don't like her. That's like personal.
We kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. We ain't taking no L's. I don't care how they feel.
On this week's episode of Kickin It, wit Killa, we have my guest, ACW Zone Brookelle. So pull up your seat, spark that brain, and let's kick it. Brookelle, what's going on with you?
No much. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So before we get into everything, we're going to start off with something that's called this or that, right? It's the quick kick. And pretty much what's going to happen here, I'm going to give you two choices. You're either going to pick this or you're going to pick that. And I also like to know why you pick this or that, okay? So we're going to talk about two of what I think might be close to the top technical wrestlers in history of wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go with either Bret Hart or Kurt Angle.
To be honest, I haven't really watched either of them. So whichever one you like.
So neither one does it for you?
Eh.
No? So then who's your top, like, when it comes to technical wrestling side of things, who will be your top technical wrestler?
At this point, based on just who I've met and who I study in the industry or the indies currently, I just spoke with Dolph Ziggler or Nick Namath like 2 nights ago when I was doing big time wrestling.
Uh-huh.
He's incredible, technical, theatrical, and all that. So, personally speaking, he would be in the top of ones I've met. I also have gotten the opportunity to speak with Matt Riddle and be on the same show as him a few times, and he's really technically incredible as well. But as far as what I see on TV, now that I have the eye, I can tell Randy Orton is on the current roster and like really good. People are like still performing, like Seth Rollins,
Right.
Priscilla Kelly, Gigi Dolan is someone that I personally met who I think is incredible, especially with like Chain, which is rare for women in particular.
Right.
So those are just a couple that I have real experience with and like have actually seen, so I can say with confidence that they're very good and inspiring.
Seth Rollins definitely, in my opinion, is probably one of the top wrestlers out there, right? I feel like you can almost put anybody in the ring with him and he'll make sure that they look good and that the performance comes off well. You know what I'm saying? There's not a whole bunch of people that's like that, but definitely a Seth Rollins, when you get in the ring with him, definitely he's gonna make sure you look good and he's gonna definitely show off himself. Like he's definitely top tier right there. All right, so the first one you're like, I don't even watch it, and I like it. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Iyo Sky or Mercedes Moné.
People find this to be very controversial, but honestly, I've always been a big fan of Mercedes Moné, and I've liked her since Sasha Banks. I found her to be really inspiring. Personally, I feel like I fuck with her, but when I bring that up, especially to people in the industry, they're like, "Oh."
Really?
So I'm like, I'm an unpopular opinion, but I'm popular for those. I personally like Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's part of the four horsewomen, right?
Top of the game.
Yeah, she's at top of the game, right?
She had like
Like,
13 belts recently
yeah,
in like at the
which is
same time.
which is crazy, right? Never heard of ever, like holding all those belts at once. And like I said, she was top tier, right? And I would say probably at that time it was probably between her and Charlotte Flair. And I think after Sasha left or Mercedes Moné, right? After she left, I think almost for a little bit Charlotte almost had to dumb down her style a little bit, right? Like she was so good, she almost had to bring it down just a little bit to kind of work with other people. But then you had people like Rhea Ripley step in, right? And then obviously
Mm.
Rhea could go, right? And then you got Iyo Sky, like you got other people that can go now. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give you one more. I'm definitely curious about this one, right? So I already mentioned her, Rhea Ripley
Mhm.
or Toni Storm.
Definitely Rhea Ripley. I think
Definitely.
Toni Storm's cringy.
Really? You think
Yeah, I
she?
just don't like her. That's like personal, just a reaction. I don't know. There's nothing against her. I think technically she's incredible. She's very talented.
Right.
She knows how to stand up for herself. She has boundaries. I think that's awesome. Rhea's excellent in her own right. And at first I thought she was cringy and I really didn't like her either. But at
Right.
this point in time, I would go with Rhea.
Okay. Okay. I I like Rhea myself. I do. He said it's cringy. I do like the character of Toni Storm, right? It's crazy. Like it's different. Number one, it's different, right? And
Mhm.
and that the character itself. Now, once we go into like the wrestling skills, I think probably Rhea got it. but like the character as in Tony Storm herself is pretty interesting, and it kind of keeps me watching in a sense, like especially how she does
Oh.
that character. So it's definitely something. But you know, so some people might call it cringe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say who said that, but so let's talk about yourself. Like, what got you into wrestling? What was that point that decided, let me leave something that is my comfort zone, which seems to be tattooing, right? And deciding into getting to the whole wrestling field. What made that happen for you?
Ironically, it's all connected. I was always a fan of wrestling, and I was watching it like as a little kid, and I liked The Undertaker. And then I got back into it really heavy around like the COVID time. And probably like 3 years ago, I was at a convention in Miami during November called the All Stars Convention, and they're known for being like a kind of off the wall, not your normal tattoo expo. So part of the entertainment was actually CCW wrestlers for the full weekend, Friday through Sunday.
Nice.
So I was walking around the floor on Friday when we opened up, and I saw the wrestling ring being set up, and my interest was piqued because I'd never seen it up close and personal. So I went to each and every performance Friday through Sunday, got to know them. I was talking to them, offering them free tattoos if they just want to come by the booth, tag me, promote me, like whatever. I just wanted to hang out.
Right.
So Sunday, they did. They came to the booth. A couple of them got tattooed. I was hanging out, made contact. They wanted me to come back, and I was definitely interested in pursuing some level of like being involved in the community. So they ended up offering me like the interview position, and I did it in Nashville. I did it a few times in Florida, and from there, speaking with the wrestlers, there was men basically telling me like you can't do it. Like, you wouldn't want this. Like, no, like, nah, like talking it down to me with that. But they don't know me as a person. So the
Right.
word no is highly motivating. So now I started training. That was probably in like January. Started training in April, debuted this past January. And now I've gotten to June. So I've been training for over a year,
Okay.
performing for 6 months now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're like really you're actually kind of like new in the whole game itself, which is interesting because it seems like you're making um
Taking it by storm.
you're just like you're making a stride, right? Like, so one thing I've noticed and what I seem to see is like you're doing a lot of stuff with James Ellsworth, right? Um it's almost I think I saw that you were, you're in Baltimore, you're in Boston, you're almost like traveling, and it's almost like the old school wrestling back in the days when it would be like, okay, we know that these two people draw money, and they're gonna like travel from place to place. It almost reminds me of that. So with that being said, like, how did that even come about? How did you get with James Ellsworth, and what was like, okay, this clicks, like this works?
Oh, nothing like that. He's just I live in Baltimore, and when I wanted to pursue training, he lives here and he was on WWE, so I got
Right,
like the connect for him. And since he's my trainer, it's best if have a match with him, so
right,
that way he can take care of me and everything. So I don't honestly don't get a choice in the matter or anything. I just graduated to the point where he is taking me out of state for bookings. It's not my bookings, it's his that I like piggyback on, and that
right,
way his company for like the drive or whatever. But it's certainly not a choice. If I had a choice and the experience level like necessary to continue moving forward, then I would just be fighting like girls that I think are cool.
right,
You know,
right,
my
right,
goal is to be mostly with CCW, hopefully ultimately move to Florida. The only reason I'm with ACW right now is because it's like the birthplace.
right,
It's
right.
just the respect to my mentor and like getting the training wheels off. But once we're good there, it's kind of like jumping out of the nest. But for right now, that's the nest.
Right. So, um, how do you feel? And obviously you're doing it. Like, how do you feel like the progress is coming in wrestling? Um, with number one, like you're facing James Ellsworth most of the time, right? And I guess before in the past you wouldn't see as much female versus male wrestling back in the days, right? It's becoming
Yeah.
more prevalent like now. Like WWE, I guess tried to touch on it a little bit, but they didn't really go full throttle with it, right? How do you feel like the progress of the wrestling business has come as far as that goes?
I feel like. even though there are a lot of changes, like you saying, you see intergender matches more. There's everything still remains the same. Like entertainment purposes, generally speaking, people don't want to see a man like beating up a woman.
Right.
It's like it's really just about like selling tickets and keeping people watching. So I mean, personally, like you train in real life, you train with men, you train with whoever's there. It's like still kind of rare for women to be there. So I'm used to working with him. I'm used to having matches with him. So in that aspect, it's just like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a girl, a boy, or whatever you identify your gender as when you're in the ring. Like you're part of the team. You're playing the sport, and like it is what it is. But if it comes to like an actual match or a TV showing or something, obviously the people want to see like two hot girls going at it. So do I. But it is much more satisfying personally from my point of view when I get to like win a match against a man. It's just like therapeutic for me and it's fun. But entertainment wise, I would much rather it be the female versus female. And I don't mind it being like an old school mindset that way because at the same time, sometimes, yeah, I don't want to be in a ring with a fat old guy that's like sweaty and gross. I'd
Right.
rather be with someone that's in my league.
So you're saying that he trained you. What was the first day like? What was the first day when you finally got a chance to, jump in the ring, do some drills? Like, explain to me how that whole first day of training with him was like.
Day one is confusing because you really don't know what to expect, but it's you and like a bunch of other people. And personally, I'm antisocial. A lot of people that are interested in wrestling are what I would call neurodivergent. So we're not necessarily friendly or good at being social. So it was hard to push myself outside the comfort zone with a full contact. 'Cause I don't like touching. I don't like eye contact. So you have to get past all that and you have to work with these people. So it was like off putting for that reason, but also day one is just like day 187 for the guy next to you and day 54 for the guy next to you. So you do all the bumps, you do all the rolls, you do everything that everybody does. And it doesn't matter if it's your literal first time or not. You just kind of like keep up with the crowd. So in that aspect, it was a little bit intimidating because I don't play team sports and it's always just like me versus myself. So in that aspect, it was fun to get out of my comfort zone and take on a new challenge. And with wrestling, it felt easy to visualize like step one, step two, progress and like goals. So that was just part of my first goal was to debut. So that
Right.
was just part of it. So I didn't really like sweat it too much. It'll definitely like push you. It hurts. It like makes you have a breakdown. It humbles you. It's not fun. It's not easy. But just like tattooing, it's worth all the hard work. You get out of it what you put into it. So if you try 100%, then 100% you will progress or improve somehow.
One thing that you just said that made me think a little bit. How hard was it? Now you said you don't like essentially you don't like being touched. You don't like the eye contact, right? How hard was it for you to get past that point? Especially, I mean that's pretty much all this, you're in a sport where that's it. That's what you're doing, right? Um what made you be able to get past that point to be able to handle that a little bit better?
I stay really focused on the goals. So my goal is to have like a belt and everything. I actually have my vision board as my lock screen. So the goal
Nice.
is
Oh,
like
I see
bigger
it.
things.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I just stay focused on that. If you don't have like a focus or a goal in mind, then it's easy to be deterred and distracted by the things that will come up like speed bumps. But those things are challenges to help you improve to reach your goals. So I just stay like laser pointed on the things that I know that I want. And that's really all I put the effort in. So
Right.
I got over the stuff that made me uncomfortable just because it's not important right now.
You focus on the goal, and that's able to help you get past everything that gets you out of that comfort zone, and essentially is what it is. So
Yeah.
with the wrestling and everything, what would you say, in your opinion, is probably the bump that that sucks? Like when you know that you have to take this particular bump, you're just like, I'm not really looking forward to this one right here. Which one like hurts the most to you?
Bumps generally like feel the same. Like if I'm just warming up and I'm in that type of mindset, then I just like don't enjoy doing a face bump. I don't necessarily enjoy a flip bump. I really like a handstand bump, but when it's like in the match when things are really happening, I don't personally feel anything because the adrenaline and I'm in a different mindset. But I will tell you what sucks every single time and never gets any better is a chop. So that's usually what I'm like. I'm not looking forward to it, especially if it's the first one in a match or the first one in a long time. Like it burns. It's
Right,
like
right.
taking a shot when you don't drink.
Yeah, and I've seen some people give some chops and leave some crazy marks on people, so I gotta understand that one. I
That's
just definitely
100% real. Yeah, there's no faking that. Even when you try to be, like, gentle with someone, you're still fully just clubbing them.
as somebody in the crowd, like when we hear that sound, it's like ooh, right? It almost hurts me sitting in the crowd, right? So
Mm,
you can't go up there like half ass in the chop. You gotta like you gotta lay it in a little bit.
you
You
gotta
know what I'm saying? Like
send
you
it.
gotta make it happen.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
if we talk beforehand, like, before the matches, even backstage, it's like, I don't as long as you're safe, like, send it. Like, sometimes we even tell each other, like, "Oh, I might have to do, like, a big boot, like, make sure to protect your face," or, like, as long as it looks real and it's
Yeah.
safe, like, who cares? Like, that's usually what the verbiage that we use, but there's been times where, like, I just got punched square in the mouth, or I accidentally like put up my leg for someone to like run into, and they actually got kicked in the face. So,
Right.
like, yeah, there's parts of it where we try to like make something look more real than it is to protect each other, but other times, like, there's just no faking some of the stuff. I know that's always the debate, but like, it's always the same answer. Like, you get in the ring and you try. Like,
Yeah.
you see how fake it is. Like it's not.
Right. Like I mean, yeah, okay. So it might be predetermined, but reality is, right? You're still getting slammed, right?
Well, sometimes
You're
even
still
if it's
getting chopped, right?
predetermined,
Yeah,
you
like
still like you get all those hits, but even like if something crazy happens with the crowd and we're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna win this match, and during which the crowd turns and they want a different direction and we feel that pull, like then that's what wins. So we're here for you. Like so the crowd determines everything.
right.
If they are billing the heel, good, great. Or if all of a sudden they're cheering for the heel and we didn't play that, oh, okay,
That
even
might
better.
change.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the part where it is reality that people like have a hard time understanding is that it's really just like aggressive theater.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's what's real about it.
So I love that the fact that you're like sitting listening to the crowd to determine what's essentially going to happen next or what direction to go. Um that's a I feel like that's a huge thing, right? To be able to do that. And I feel like that's going to be a huge skill that that you're going to have going forward with everything, right? Years from now, being able to read off the crowd and being like, you know what, let's do this now, let's do this now, right? I feel like
Mhm.
that's definitely and if that's something that James has taught you, that's like a very valuable skill that I think right there. So kudos to you. Like, saying that right now, just like, hey, depends on how the crowd goes. We might have this in mind, but when we go out there and the crowd says this, then guess what? We changing it up on the fly, and this is the way it's going, right? So
Mhm.
that's pretty dope. I like that. I like that. So I'm into music, right? So I at least got to ask you one music question, right?
Mhm.
During the day as you're getting your mind set, right? And it might be right before getting into the ring. Um, is there a song, and what song is it that you might have to listen to kind of get your mind right, to kind of get you into that mood, to get you hyped up, whether it be to get in the ring, whether it be to get in the gym and practice, or whatever the case, right? Whatever, hitting the weights, whatever, right? What is that one song that when you listen to, you're like, okay, I'm about to go in here and fuck shit up right now. You know what I'm saying? What's that song for you?
It is different based on like the environment. So I would say if it's like right before I hit the curtain and I like go out for the match, um there's a lot of things that lead up to the moment of like me coming out. So you really the only real alone time you get is like that 15 to 30 seconds before you walk out.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, my song is Man Eater by Nelly Furtado. So the intro is like naturally 15 seconds with like a kind of like percussion buildup.
Right.
So honestly, like as soon as that hits, I know I have like 15 seconds to like kind of like get into it, and like that's what gets me amped up. And then I hit the curtain because I already really love that song,
Right.
and I didn't intend to use it as the intro, but it just kind of came to me one day. So now every time I know I'm about to be up and the my music hits, it's just like you
It's
know?
like, let's go, right? Like, let's get it.
Yeah, but it's a different mindset when you're going to like hit the curtain because there's already so you're like shaking. It's so much adrenaline, like you're already like a little, I would almost call it disassociative. Like when I just go to the gym or I'm working out, I got to really try to like get amped up some days. Whereas a match, even if I'm having the worst day of my life, I'm sick, everything hurts, I don't want to be there. That music hits, you go. Like
Right,
that's
right.
just how it is.
So it just turns it on. So just hearing your own music, for instance, I guess is what like what hypes you up, what kind of
It's
gets you
like,
going, right? It just gets you. It just it's that switch, right? So the best thing I could think of, I'm currently in the sport of doing powerlifting, right? But before powerlifting, I did mixed martial arts, right? And
mhm,
I knew that there was a switch, like there's a switch that I could just turn on, right? A switch turn on,
mhm,
and it's like this different mindset just comes in, and then I know how to turn that switch off, right? As soon as we're done, I'm back to like acting goofy and having a good time. But when that switch turn on, it's a different person that you're seeing, right? So I
mhm.
feel like probably that 15 seconds for you, listening to that intro is like, okay, it's game time, right? And then the whole
Yeah.
mode changes, and then you go out there and do what you got to do. So, in your opinion, out of everybody that you've met as far as the industry, even people that you might have just seen that you haven't met, right? Who do you feel, in your personal opinion, is probably the most underrated wrestler out there?
I feel like I know more overrated than underrated. The only thing that was like relevant recently was just like all the cuts that WWE made, like Asuka, Kyrie, like I feel like they went underappreciated a lot of the time, especially when you're like from the perspective of being in the industry, you can see from a different perspective when the veil is lifted and the people that you are programmed to hate, the bad guys, you realize that they're the ones that have more experience, so they're working harder.
Right.
And if they're not good at their job, then the person they're trying to put over doesn't even look good. So it makes you appreciate way more. Like Asuka felt really underrated and really underappreciated because she is so fucking good and she's
She
been so
is.
good for so long. And they just were like, and Kyrie too, and they were just kinda, like, stringing them along and, like, just they were just there, and it was like a security thing, but you like, Asuka and Kyrie can do some really insane stuff. The women from Japan are built different, so that's the only thing I could think of recently where it felt really disappointing that they didn't get more of, like, a shine.
That actually was a surprise to me, and I don't know if it was they actually cut her or if she decided to leave herself. Not to take the word of Gunther, but she was a ring general herself, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
my god, yeah, for, like, the
she,
women's
yeah,
division.
yeah, like for real, like she can, you already knew that like same like how I said with Seth Rollins, right? With with
Mhm.
with Asuka, you already knew that you were gonna get a good match, regardless,
Yeah.
right? She was gonna turn that match into a good match. And then never mind if you put her in the ring with somebody good like an Iyo Sky, or you put somebody in the ring good with like Charlotte Flair, right? You definitely was gonna get a banger out of it. So yeah, I agree with you, and it was kind of unfortunately, and I don't want to talk like too bad about the company, like they're still the top company out there, but unfortunately right now it almost seems like some people they don't know what to do with, which is crazy because they got some good talent and they seem not to know what to do with someone. Like it's almost like, you know, everybody can't have that top spot, which they don't, but you can still have a good story with everybody, right?
Mhm.
And I almost felt like, some people, especially the ones that they released, was just it's kind of mind boggling to me a little bit. Like, man, you could have you missed out and not used this person correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy to me. But speaking of the woman in Japan, right? Do you think that's somewhere that you would want to eventually train at and get in the ring in?
Without a doubt, I feel like it's always been a life goal to just go to Japan to live and die there. I always said I would like just get a one-way ticket. I didn't even realize how into wrestling they were. So now that I'm in the industry and I'm aware of it, it's definitely on the goal, the sheet. It's on the vision board to get to Japan. It would be like so incredible to have that opportunity through wrestling. There's been a lot of really amazing opportunities that I've met that way, but I would even without wrestling, I would just want to go. Like,
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
It's amazing.
So you've done it like a lot, like I said, in the last year. From starting to get in the ring to being traveling different places, doing your different events. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What's the ultimate goal? Where would you like to be?
Well, actually, I'm not as young as people think I am. So in 5 years, especially being like so physical, I've been tattooing for 16 years, and now just with all the added trauma to my body with wrestling, in 5 years, hopefully within that time frame, I've either accomplished hitting it as big as I can, or it's like at the peak of that journey right there. Because 40 and after, I'd really hope to like the dream would be hitting it big, having enough money where I just don't really need to worry, living probably at the beach, hopefully with a partner that is like cool with everything, can keep up
Right.
with me. But if not, whatever, So like in 5 years, I'm really hoping for myself that I can have peace, that I can relax. I don't need to stress about money or a living situation. I've always felt like ever since I was little that I was destined for something big, and whole life growing up, even to this day, I have people constantly telling me like, "Oh, when you're famous, don't forget me," or "I want you to tattoo me, so when you're famous, this and that." So, like, to be honest,
Right.
like, it is set in my mind, so I'm hoping, like, in the next 3 to 5 years, I hit that goal, that
Right.
finally manifests itself, and I can be happy.
Well, I think that number one, your mind seems to be in the right place. Number one, I'm a true believer of like the vision board itself, right? And manifesting your thoughts that come across, right? So I think that with what you're doing, and just like I said, I didn't realize that you were only in this industry for like a year, right? So
Mhm, mhm,
with that being said, like you've seemed to accomplish quite a bit just in that small frame of time, right? So I feel like if you're able to stay focused, right? The grind as hard as you have been grinding, right? And don't be scared to reach out, right? Definitely, you've already gotten out of your comfort zone, but sometimes you might have to get out a little bit more, right? But
mhm.
I think that I think that the end result is going to be a good thing for you, right? I think I can see you in that in the AEWs or the WWEs or the, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
I can see that for you, you know what I'm saying? So you know, best of luck to you. That's what I'm hoping, man. Like I think you got this. You definitely got this, right?
thank you.
So let's keep it going, right? One last question I have for you,
Mhm.
and well, two, but one last question, right? Um, when people hear your name, right? What do you want them to think? What do you want the first thing for them to think when they hear your name? Like years from now, when you've definitely made more impact, more and more impact than you've already done right now. Just keep doing your thing, hammering it down.
Mhm.
When they hear your name, what do you want to be the first thing that pops up in their brain?
To answer that as like plainly as possible, I'm super visual, so if I heard my name or if someone else heard my name, I'm hoping the first thing would be like the vision of me, like to know
Right.
what I look like, I guess. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess. And then after that, it would be super cool if my reputation was like she was like a really nice, good person. I
yeah.
feel like that is kind of happening currently, especially in the tattoo realm of my life. Word gets around fast, and I've been hearing coming back to me from strangers or artists that are friends with my client, people I don't know, but my reputation that precedes me is that I'm a girl's girl, that I keep it
Right.
real, that I'm an honest person, that you can trust me. So to me, like that is really what matters, and that's really satisfying. Especially because growing up, I came from a place of a lot of abuse and negativity. So the people that I was influenced by or abused by, their reputation preceded them that, they're an asshole and they're shitty.
Right.
And I was
Right.
hoping that mine would be the opposite. I think that it's easy for especially little kids to like look up to me and think that I have a lot of confidence. I'm unapologetic for just being the way that I am, and I know that I inspire a lot of people in that way, and it's kind of unintentional. So my hope would be that that would be the marker that I leave.
I know that was one of my last questions, but you just said something that made me want to spark something also, right? And if you don't mind, if we get a little bit more personal with your life a little bit, um, you said in the past that you've dealt with certain things, abuse, whatever the
Mhm.
case, right? Um, what was it that helped you get past that stage in your life? What do you feel like helped get you past that? And like, what advice do you have for other people that might be almost going through the same thing that you might have been through?
At first it was just survival instincts. You definitely go through like the phases of grief, especially with like extreme abuse, in the early stages of life, because you just don't understand, and you are kind of trapped. So at first it was survival, and then it turned into kind of like spite. The reasons for like success and pursuing things and being fiercely independent was to like prove people wrong in the past, or it was my father that was really abusive, so it was like to prove that I don't need you, or whatever the case may be. But then as you mature and develop over time, you can't really be sustained off negativity, and you yourself can't vibrate at a higher positive frequency if you are stuck here. So it went from all the attention and energy being directed out towards other people, and like, why did this happen to me, and dwelling in the negative. And one, over many days, actually not one day, over many years of time and intentional
Right.
inner work, it shifted to, instead of everyone taking my energy and me always giving it away, to change the perspective and all the energy that I had been giving away to people that didn't deserve it. I decided that if I started wrestling, that I would just really throw all my time, all my energy, and everything into it, like for real, really do it. So unfortunately, it took me that long to like discover the self-love and the value in myself, but it's been a quick journey since I've made that progress, and now I can truly honestly say I love myself. I stand up for myself. I show up for myself. I set the goals and I achieve them, and I can do anything that I put my mind to. So I try really hard to take anything negative in my life just like with a grain of salt, because the past is already over. And it's not that things get better, and it's not that things get easier. It's just that you get older and you get tired, and then you realize it's more important to appreciate the moment you're in and to look forward, instead of constantly being caught up in the past, or things that didn't go your way. Instead,
Right.
you can make them go your way. So that, long story short, that's pretty much my perspective of like a life full of hardships is not negative. It just means that it could make or break a person. So if someone comes from a place that was really dark and scary and difficult, and they're like me and they're strong and independent and nice, that just means that they're strong. They're vibrating higher. So
I like it.
just stay focused. My advice for people is very realistic. Like I said, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any easier. It's just really important to know what you want and to stay focused on that, because that's what you'll get.
Being introduced into this wrestling kind of assisted you, and it could have been the tattooing, doing the tattooing before probably helped you out with that, staying focused on that. But it seems like, just kind of like briefly talking to you, it seems like the wrestling, in a sense, helped you find that thing to focus on, to be
Mhm.
able to get past things that's happened to you, previously in the past, with the different aspects of abuse, whether it be verbal, whether it be physical, whatever the case. Um, that focusedness, you're able to kind of put all your energy out into this wrestling, it seems like to me, right?
Mhm.
And then being able to shift away from everything that's happened to you before. So that's I mean, that's pretty cool, man. I think you have something here and you need to tap into that a little bit more, right? I think you have something that's a message that people need to hear, right?
Mhm.
Um, there's and I know there could be numerous people out there that's dealing with the stuff that you've dealt with before, right? And you say you're a girly's girl, right? So probably just for females, right? Or men get abused too, right? So for
Mhm.
females, right? Like, I think that you can be, a role model of like, okay, yeah, I've been through what you've been through. Um, you know, just kind of be like me, be strong minded, try to fight through this. You will get through this. It's not going to be easy, but you can get through this, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's a good mark for you. Like, that's something that people, I feel like, need to know about you, right? And that's pretty cool. And you kind of brought it up at the last minute, but you know what I mean? Like, uh, you gotta let it out. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta let it out, right? I want to thank you for coming on. At some point, I would like to get you at least back on the show, months from now, and just kind of like just talk about your progress that's going on since the time we've talked now, and the time that we'll talk then, right? I think I just want to, be able to keep in contact and see that progress that's going on with you, right? And I think that you should stay focused. Don't let anything at all bring you down. Um, you've had a rough pass. We're making it past it. That's beautiful, right? Keep it
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
And I definitely appreciate everything that you have going on. All right, definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun, and I'll definitely come back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. And remember, doesn't matter what situation you're in, what point of life you're in, whether it's the fallback, the get back, or the comeback. Remember, you're special. You have purpose. So get out there and get it. Peace.
Saying kicking it.